What is up, you guys? Welcome to the Racy Podcast. This is your host, Cristopher Zamora. Welcome to the show. So today, guys, I want to speak to you about the Hunger Games movie, the new one that just came out. It is called The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I gotta say, man, I enjoyed this movie. I did enjoy it. To be honest, I think my favorite from the whole series is probably Mockingjay Part 2, because that was just the ending of the whole franchise and it was so climactic. So yeah, that's why I believe that Mockingjay Part 2 is the best one from the series. But to be honest, man, this one was pretty good as well. It's a prequel of before the trilogy happened, before the actual Hunger Games movie happened. It takes place 64 years before when Katniss Everdeen actually joined the Hunger Games. So, and it's a story about President Snow when he was young. Supposedly, he was a mentor to a girl named Lucy Gray. And supposedly, he actually did like this girl. In this movie, we actually did find out how he planned on winning the Hunger Games, the 10th annual Hunger Games. We found out his strategies. We found out what made him become the person that we know him as in the trilogy movies. To be honest, for me, the Hunger Games, I had to say that that's like my second favorite franchise based off a book. The first one for me will always be the Harry Potter series. I've actually read almost every single Harry Potter book. I read the first one, second, third, fourth, the fifth. I kind of stopped reading around the number 6. Like, I just stopped reading it halfway. Well, that's when I just really wanted to see the 6th movie so badly, so that's why I didn't read that one. And number 7, I didn't really read it as well. I just only watched the movies because it just takes like 2 hours just to watch the movies instead of reading the whole book. That probably could take you like 10 plus hours or so, depending on how fast you read. But for me, guys, I'm a slow reader. Harry Potter will always be my favorite movie franchise based off a book. And like I said, the Hunger Games for me, it was created by Susan Collins. It's definitely number 2 on the list. I have to say, you probably might think that I'm crazy that I haven't seen these movies, but I haven't seen the rest of the Twilight movies other than the first one. And that's it. Those are all the movies that I've seen of the Twilight movies. Just the first movie. I haven't seen New Moon, no Breaking Dawn. What's the other one? Eclipse? Yeah, I haven't seen that one either. I don't know, man. I just really haven't had the chance to actually watch it. So yeah, for the third one, I had to say maybe the Maze Runner. Yeah, the Maze Runner. The very first, well, actually, that's it. I did enjoy all 3 movies, but my favorite one was probably the second one, because that's when they actually introduced the infected people, and they were just running away from these people, and it was cool. I like how they did it in the movies. And that one scene I mentioned to you around last year, that on the Maze Runner, when Thomas actually saw his friend that was in the maze. He was trying to get out of the maze, but he was dragging somebody there. He was an important person, and then the gates, they were closing in, and then that's when Thomas, he went inside, and the gates were closing fast. That's when he ran, and I believe that was my favorite part from that movie. But yeah, I put the Maze Runner on third. 4th place, the Divergent series, that's what they call it. I didn't really watch the last movie, but this franchise to me, I don't know, it's kind of somewhat forgettable to me because it's been a long time since I've seen the movies, but I saw Divergent, and I think the second one was Allegiance or Insurgents. I'm not really sure the order of the actual franchise for these movies, but that's how I rank these books that were made into movies. So yeah. Now going back to the Hunger Games movie, the main actor who acted as President Snow when he was younger, I believe he did a great job. Tom Blyth, I think that's his name, and the girl who played as Lucy Gray, Ziegler, I think that's her last name. She did a very wonderful job, and no matter what they're saying about her and Snow White and Disney and stuff, I have to admit she did a good job on this movie. It wasn't a drag or anything like that. Everything was paced well, and just the story itself, it was good. President Snow, in his young teens, he was basically trying to win this Hunger Games because they would have won money. Whoever won this match, this Hunger Games, the person would have won a lot of money. And like at first, to me, knowing how President Snow is on the trilogy series, I thought he was gonna be just the same guy that always likes to control and have power over people. I felt like at first he was gonna be just like that all the way through. Like I thought he was gonna manipulate Lucy Gray, and I thought he was gonna betray her at the end. But no, it turned out that he actually did like Lucy. Lucy Gray, I'll put her as like a free spirited person. She sings. She knows how to play the guitar. She has somewhat of a huge personality, and that's what President Snow actually liked about her at first. Throughout the movie, both of them, they just started liking each other. She was selected for the draw for the Hunger Games. She was part of the District 12, and President Snow was a mentor for her. Not just only her, but also the male guy that was chosen from District 12. He was supposed to mentor both of them. But it turns out that the male did not make it out alive from the actual games itself. You only really see that in the trilogy series. Katniss and Peeta, they were basically the only district from the same district that actually survived the Hunger Games. They were the first ones that actually did it in that universe. And Lucy Gray only survived for this 10th annual Hunger Games. The Hunger Games, it was somewhat different for the 10th annual one between the original one, the one with Jennifer Lawrence. It was more open for Jennifer Lawrence's movie, the one that she came out on. Yeah, I think it was the 75th or 74th annual Hunger Games. And like things were very different. And in this one, they were very cramped, and like still there were 24 of them, and they had to kill each other to survive. And the reason being is because the Capitol, they defeated the country. I think his name is Panem, I believe. Panem actually lost the war, and so the only thing that the Capitol did was to bring punishment to them by selecting each year 2 people, a male and a female, from each district to compete in the Hunger Games, which is a terrible thing because they actually do kill each other. And that's what made this interesting. This dystopian society that the government is controlling the people and they just want to do harm to them. And the only way for these people that were selected from the district, they had it to survive these games. If they didn't, well, their punishment was death. And Lucy Gray actually did survive. Barely. It only took a few cheating methods for President Snow to actually do this. He actually gave her something that it was going to be poison for the people. Like, she used it against some of the opponents she had to face. And also, Snow, he by accident, he actually did kill one of the other district opponents that Lucy Gray had to face. The reason being is because he was about to get killed when he was trying to save his friend from being there. Like, his friend that was actually another mentor for another district, he just somehow just stepped in there in the Hunger Games. His friend actually felt sorry for the guy that actually got killed because he thought he was just doing his best trying to keep him alive. But sadly, he did not make it out. The opponent that supposedly Lucy Gray was going to face in the Hunger Games, he did not make it out. And Snow's friend, he was there. But then Snow talked him out of being in the Hunger Games because it was just only for the district people that were chosen to be in there. But then they noticed that the ones that were selected, they were going after them. And then that's when they ran away from the Hunger Games. But Snow actually killed one of them. And they never actually showed it on camera because supposedly that would have been very bad. It would have been very bad for everybody in the whole world to see that. To see it, that somebody that's a mentor just cheating and just killing somebody's older person that they were mentoring. Yeah, you just wasn't going to look right for the Capitol. So that's why they never showed the feed of Snow actually killing him. So yeah. And also, Lucy Gray, like I said, she actually used the poison that Snow gave her to infect one of the players as well. In a way, it did help her because now they were gone, and now she only had to face a few more opponents left. And the other thing I like about this movie is when they brought a huge tank full of snakes. Now, that scene, man. Oof, when they threw those snakes on the pit where they were, damn, they were just crawling everywhere, and they were attacking each player that was selected from the districts. Wow, that was crazy. And like I said, the only other person that made it was Lucy Gray. The girl that was trying to kill her, she was the last person to die in the Hunger Games. And also, this was the very first Hunger Games where somebody actually survived. That's what I noticed, because Snow actually did mention to the lady, Dr. Gao, I'm not really sure her name is, but he did mention to her that they should keep her alive because the ratings would have gone down if all the players actually died. So that's why they just kept her alive, and she was the very first one to actually survive the Hunger Games. Even Snow at first thought that she wasn't gonna make it at the ending, but somehow, some way, he actually started liking her, and she started liking him back as well. Right after the games they were done, Snow was actually caught cheating, and his punishment for that was that he had to become a soldier. And the good thing is that he actually had the choice of going to any district that he wanted to be a soldier for some time. Supposedly, he had like a 20-year sentence of being a soldier, but that wasn't true. That only lasted maybe just like 2 weeks for him or something like that. But guys, he actually did join District 12 so he can actually be closer to Lucy Gray. This is when it was part three during the movie. There were actually the movie was actually cut into three parts. The first part it was him being the mentor. The second part was the actual Hunger Games for the movie, and the third one was the aftermath for that. So Snow actually found Lucy Gray on District 12, and they were actually getting along for some time. But then things they were somehow like lurking in the background. There were people behind them that were actually trying to make things worse on the district. And also his friend that was supposedly that got inside the Hunger Games, he actually kind of made things a little bit more harder for Snow. There were a few people that his friend, Snow's friend, actually made friends with, and those people they were bad news. They were doing bad things in the background, and he got into that situation, and so did Snow. The mayor's daughter actually got shot by Snow, and she did not make it out. And there was also his friend. He will also try to get people out from the district, but the thing is, Snow actually recorded their conversation. The reason being is because he just wanted to go things his way. He really wasn't caring about anybody else other than himself. He was just trying to control everything, including Lucy Gray as well. Around the middle of the movie, I believe Lucy Gray did mention to him that what she mostly really cares about is 100% trusting the person that she's with. She did not feel that way around the last 20 minutes of the movie because Snow actually got 3 people killed. He actually got the mayor's daughter killed, the guy in the Hunger Games, and the third one was his friend, his main friend. He actually did kill them because supposedly the soldiers or the capital actually found out about the recording that he sent to Dr. Gao. That's crazy. And he was actually hanged, and Snow did not do anything about it. He just let it happen just like that. He didn't do anything about it. Then that's when Lucy Gray thought that, yeah, this guy is bad news. I gotta get away from this guy. And that's what she actually did. When they were supposedly leaving the district, they were running away together. But then that's when Lucy Gray actually asked Snow the 3 people that he killed. She knew 2 people that Snow actually killed. He killed his friend. He also killed the mayor's daughter. But she did not know that he killed the guy in the Hunger Games. She did not know about that. But then Snow actually mentioned that I killed myself. Like, this guy is different. I'm a different person. That's what he mentioned. And then that's when Lucy, she actually said that she was going to go pick up some crops in the middle of the rain. And then that's when she just disappeared. And Snow actually went after her. He tried to find her, and he actually took a gun with him. And then that's basically the last thing for Lucy Gray and Snow. We never really got to see them ever again with each other. And right after that, that's when Snow actually got out of District 12 and went back to the capital. Since he was very familiar with everything, he now knew what the Hunger Games were really about. Like, he really understood why the Hunger Games actually exist. And now we know his true origin story. Like, how he became the guy that Katniss everything hated since the very first movie of the Hunger Games. Like I said, guys, this was an actual interesting movie. Just around the third act, it felt a little bit slow, but to be honest, it was good. It was at a good pace, and the actors they did good. I give this movie, uh, I'll give this movie an 8.5 out of 10. I was about to give it a 9, but there's just a few things that were missing. Like maybe we need a little bit more action, and it was okay. The Hunger Games is just a great series, and Mockingjay Part 2 is definitely my favorite one. Now, there is only have been 4 books made for the Hunger Games series. This one, for this movie, that just recently came out. It came out in 2020, the book, and there hasn't been another book since. So we don't know when will there be another book for this franchise, and would it ever continue? So yeah, we don't know when they're actually gonna have another movie for this franchise. It just depends if Susan Collins actually makes another book for it. We don't know if she ever going to make another one, but we will see in the future. Like I said, I give this movie an 8.5 out of 10. I enjoyed it. It was good, man. And that is it, guys. That's my review for this movie. If you guys did enjoy this podcast and would like to hear more, I would recommend you to please follow this podcast on wherever it is you're listening to it. If you are listening to it on Pandora or on Spotify, I do have a YouTube channel for the podcast. You can actually just see me on screen, and you'll be able to see like all the things I have around here, and and see me too. So yeah. I also recommend this podcast to a friend or neighbor that actually likes listening to stuff about pop culture things. Maybe they will enjoy this podcast as much as you do listening to it. And that is it, guys. Thank you so much again. Alright, guys. Take care and live to the fullest. Bye.